What if I was to tell you that right now, some of the most exciting, original, and emotionally resonant stories in animation aren't coming from Disney, Pixar, Cartoon Network, Warner Bros., or Paramount, or even Netflix, but instead are coming from right here on YouTube? While the industry has been playing it safer than ever recently, canceling shows, shelving originals, and betting more and more on reboots and sequels, more and more artists are beginning to bring their original ideas directly to us, with the help of smaller teams and maybe a little bit of help from us viewers. We're living in a time where corporate control of art is at an all-time high, but thanks to indie creators, animation is experiencing kind of a new creative renaissance. And right now, with the recent release of Glitchtech's Knights of Guinevere, it might be the clearest sign yet that indie animation isn't just alive, it's thriving. If you guys have been enjoying everything I've been putting out recently, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. I pinky promise I got more fun stuff coming very soon. Also, probably a bunch of spoilers for a whole bunch of stuff. Like I kinda implied previously, the main thing that really pushed me into making this video was 100% watching the pilot for Glitchtech's Productions' newest release, Knights of Guinevere. Created by Dana Terrace, John Bailey Owen, and Zach Marcus, that came out the other week free to watch right here on YouTube. Terrace is probably best known for making one of my favorite more recent Disney animated shows, The Owl House. And if you know much about her time at Disney, you can see how that experience, for better or worse, shaped her most recent creation. The best way I can describe Knights of Guinevere is essentially a sci-fi psychological thriller set in an amusement park called Park Planet, following two down-on-their-luck best friends whose lives are changed forever when they discover a damaged old android of the park's mascot, Guinevere. The two think fixing her might be their ticket to a better life, but what starts off as a hopeful quest turns into a quickly escalating revelation about the much darker reality behind the park's cheerful facade. I think my favorite part about this pilot is that it really doesn't hold your hand at all. Like, this show actually trusts its audience to be attentive and intelligent enough to piece together the things that are happening for themselves. Every scene of this show has something in the background or a moment that just lingers in your head and really helps expand the world. I watched this with my friend Nosa, and literally every few minutes one of us was pointing out something that we noticed. There was part of me that was really curious and honestly slightly concerned about how Glitch would tackle 2D animation, because they're best known for their 3D work. But the animation in this is pretty damn amazing. And all the characters were really expressive, way more than I was expecting them to be. Our two leads, Annie and Frankie, really have fun chemistry, and they work off each other so well. This show was also just like, low-key really dark. And yeah, I expected that a bit after watching the trailer a few months ago, but watching the actual episode, some moments literally had me audibly gasping. Knights of Guinevere really doesn't seem like the type of animated series that any major studio would greenlight, but it is the kind of strange, risky, and deeply original idea you only get when a creator is free to just follow their own vision. And honestly, that's pretty huge, because if you've been paying attention to the animation industry the past few years, you know how restrictive the big studios have gotten. If you follow Dana Terrace for a bit, then you know just how tough that experience at Disney was, especially by the end. The Owl House was cancelled and given a 3-episode final season to tie everything up. Not because it wasn't beloved, because it definitely was, but because it didn't fit Disney's brand. Corporate notes came down constantly, pushing her to justify every creative choice she had, and it just kinda wore her down. So when watching Knights of Guinevere, it's kind of impossible not to see this show as a reflection of all of that. Park Planet, the benevolent amusement park in the clouds, is an obvious stand-in for Disney World and Disneyland. Its mysterious Walt Disney-like founder, Orville Park, and of course, Guinevere, the broken android princess commodified and turned into a product. She's basically a stand-in for Mickey Mouse. For decades, Mickey's been used as a corporate mascot, a hollow symbol of brand safety. But if you go back to his earliest shorts, Mickey had personality. He was mischievous, weird, and even had a little crazy side going for him. Knights of Guinevere is holding all of that up to a mirror and showing us how corporations strip these characters of their souls, turning them into nothing but brands. And I think that at its core is what makes this series so interesting to me. It's not just that it's original, it's commentary. It's a creator using the very language of animation to critique the system she broke away from. And honestly, that's the power of indie animation. It can say and do things that the industry itself never would. But the success that Knights of Guinevere is having isn't existing in a vacuum. It's part of a bigger movement that's been bubbling for years. Indie animation is booming right now, and for good reason. Of course, the most obvious reason for this rise in indie animation is that the major studios are really just pulling back on animation as a whole. Over the last few years, we've seen major layoffs at Disney, Warner Bros, and Netflix animation sites. Entire animated projects have been cancelled, shelved, or removed from streaming for tax write-offs. Like, you literally can't find a single classic Cartoon Network show on HBO Max anymore. And that's fucking crazy, bro. But even when these shows do get made, they're often strangled by executive notes, shortened seasons, barely being advertised, or they're meticulously tailored to appeal to the broadest possible audience. For creators that actually want to tell bold and personal stories, that system just feels like a dead end right now. But that's exactly where indie animation comes in. Thanks to new tools and platforms, it's easier than ever for small teams, sometimes even just a handful of people, to make professionally looking animation. There are so many beginner-friendly animation softwares that are affordable. I mean, hell, if you got some paper, a pencil, and some time, you can low-key just go the storyboard route. Patreon and Kickstarter allow creators to get direct support from their fans. It's allowing for more independent animation to blow up now more than ever. We've already seen proof of this. Has-Been Hotel started off as a YouTube pilot, and now it's literally airing episodes on Amazon Prime. The Amazing Digital Circus broke the internet overnight. Hell of a Boss continues to rack up millions of views without a single corporate logo attached. Even smaller projects like Pretty Please I Don't Want to Be a Magical Girl, which was done almost entirely with storyboards, have gone viral, proving that audiences don't just tolerate indie animation, they're craving it. In so many ways right now, indie animation just feels alive in ways that mainstream animation just doesn't. It's not worried about hitting a 4-quadrant demographic or selling toys at Target. These are stories coming straight from the minds of their creators, rough edges and all. That authenticity connects with its audiences in a way corporate projects just can't really. So when I say that the success that Knights of Guinevere is having isn't existing in a vacuum, I mean that. It's part of a larger cultural shift. It's a moment where audiences are showing that they're hungry for originality, and creators are realizing that they don't have to wait for permission anymore. They can just make it. The truth is though, indie animated shows like Knights of Guinevere don't survive on hype alone. Indie creators don't have $1 billion marketing budget, toy deals, or a massive PR machine to prop them up. All they really have is us, the audience. And because of that, it means our attention really matters. Every time we watch, share, buy merch, support on Patreon, or even just tell a friend about a cool indie show we love, we're casting a vote for the kinds of stories that we want to see more of. And yeah, that might sound really small, but in the world of indie animation, it's the difference between a project fizzling out and a project getting to keep living. The reason The Amazing Digital Circus blew up wasn't because some executive poured millions into advertising it. It's because the people watched it and spread it like wildfire. And the same goes for Has-Been Hotel, Lackadaisy, Pretty Please I Don't Want to Be a Magical Girl, and so many more. Right now, the industry really feels like it's at a crossroads. Companies are shrinking their commitment to creativity, cutting jobs, shelving projects, censoring what we can and can't be said or done now more than ever. But indie creators are out here taking risks and telling stories that no corporation would dare greenlight. Literally just watching on YouTube, liking, commenting, or sharing can make all the difference. Because at the end of the day, that's what this whole surge in indie animation is all about. Freedom. The freedom for creators to tell their stories, and the freedom for audiences to watch the animation that they want to watch. But like most things these days, that freedom isn't guaranteed. It's something we have to actively support. So next time you see an indie project that makes you feel something or anything, share it, talk about it, support it, be a part of the reason that show exists. Because if we really want more original, daring animation in the world, it starts with us choosing it. Appreciate you guys once again for making it to the end of another one of these. I've wanted to make a video about the landscape of indie animation basically since I started this channel, so Knights of Guinevere really just gave me the perfect avenue to do so. I really can't wait to see where this show goes next in the future. Literally anytime I see an indie pilot blow up, it really just gives me a lot of hope that I can make something as cool as that one day, hopefully, in the future. But remember to like and subscribe. I put links to all the pilots I talked about today in the description, so let me know your thoughts on some in the comments and I'll talk to you guys later.